It's all about peace, spreading love in the world. So I gotta represent rebels for joy, positivity. You know that we're all about it. Magic happens when you align your purpose, passion, and power. Just believe in your greatness. I know for sure the light that you radiate too strong to ignore. Emotional revolution. It's time that we start. Love, we need more. We are rebels for joy. Woo!
Hey, sister, this is Bonnie.
And Jillian.
We are Rebels for Joy, here to align your purpose, passion, and power, all fueled by joy. We want to welcome you today to another episode of Rebels for Joy, and we're excited for talking about our mission statement. We're talking about, why it's so big, why it's so important, and why we need you alongside with us.
Yeah, I'm super psyched because I know how much, not just time, but energy and feeling, like we opened up, we called upon Spirit to bring this mission statement to us. This is not something that we were like hammering and nailing and trying to manipulate and bring about because we are controlling and need to do all the things. Like we literally, Bonnie, we opened up and we gave ourselves the space. We spent the better part of 2.5 hours, I think, making this as beautiful as it is. And we're just so proud of it. But the whole time we were making this, we were talking about like our girl, she's going to love this. What does she need the very most? Like she's going to be a part of this. So for you listening, you beautiful soul sister, you were there in the creation of this with us. And that's just so fun, isn't it?
It's amazing. And what's interesting, I love how you preferenced in the very beginning, said, well, we weren't in this control element. Now, for any of you who have followed either myself or Jillian, that was something that we both really had to transition out of. This constant hustle, the grind, the get, the go. There's so many expectations, especially in the influencer entrepreneur space, right? You see it all the time, right? The girl boss. And I'm not dogging on that by any means, but be a boss, right? And being a boss meant almost to the extent of being, assertive and aggressive. And though those elements are essential to succeeding in business, there was this imbalancement of constantly having to force and control. Yes. And we lost sight of this alignment. We lost sight of this, this connectiveness that is required for us to really speak directly to you listeners, right? To actually know you, to remember who we are and how we can serve you. Yeah. And that doesn't happen in the hustle and the grind.
No. And I remember, my first step into the entrepreneurial world at all was my human was like, oh, by mistake. And the universe is like, no, it's not. But it was through network marketing before I even knew what network marketing even was. And sacrifice was celebrated. Right? Like being able to push through and grind through, that was something that that got all the accolades. And
my competition of who was suffering more. And
exactly.
That. And I know that from I was in the real estate world, right? So for 15 years, I was top producing real estate agent. I was in and out of that industry for a really long time. Yeah. And talk about ego, right? Talk about this constant, when we get together, it would be these conversations about how much we don't have any time and how busy we are and how much our life is suffering because we're so successful. And it was really this interesting competition, all fueled by this misery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And it was just so fun.
Yep.
And I was in it. I'll be honest. I was totally in the same mentality.
Oh, totally. With me, I was primed for that. That really fueled the fire that I had at the time because I didn't have any concept of what it would feel like to, live a life of surrender and trust and creativity and not forcing anything. I didn't know what that was like at the time. I just knew if you gave me a to-do list, I was going to freaking knock it out of the park and I was going to get it done and hand it into the teacher way beforehand so that I could prove that I was the top student. And that all worked for me because, and we talked about in our first episode, that I learned early on that A, I'm pretty good at that stuff, and B, that's what gets me praise. And so of course it was a natural eco zone environment for me to be in for a while until it just didn't feel good anymore.
'cause it
Until
is-
one day I woke up, I'm like, I actually just can't. Like, I can't keep functioning like this. There is something way out of alignment and it feels awful. And I got several different stop signs from the universe right to the forehead. I was physically injured and I wasn't even mad about it because I knew I was pushing too hard. I was so emotionally drained. I was getting sick more. I was getting all the signs that were glaring and saying, Jillian, this isn't for you. Until I finally said, okay, then what is?
Yeah.
What is? Show me a life that's different than this because I don't want this anymore, but I don't know how to create anything different. I don't know how to participate with anything different.
And that really requires you to take your worth off the line.
You sure
Right?
does, sister.
It just requires you to take your worth off the line. I mean, I think that's a big part of why we get sucked into, you know, such a grind, a hustle, why we're constantly trying to prove that we're enough, prove that we're worthy, prove that we're lovable. And that's when your worth is just out, it's constantly on the line. And guess what? That means it's in the hands of other people.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to get crushed.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen because though everyone else in this world might have good intentions that's in your life, that right, that might actually really do want you to know that that you're lovable.
Right.
At the end of the day, you're not going to be at the forefront of every ounce of their thoughts and attention, which means if your worth is on the line and is in their hands, it's going to sometimes take the back seat when their life goes into chaos or when they're struggling, they're whatever. And so you're constantly going to find your worth being crushed.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you're going to feel disappointed. And then all of a sudden you're going to find your behavior being inconsistent. Maybe you are procrastinating. Maybe you're avoiding. You're going to where you're closed down, you're reacting, you're withdrawn, whatever it is. That's a result of us not having our worth in line, in tune with our inner world.
Yes.
It is out there for the world to crumble and to crush. And that's where we want to take our worth off the line and begin to start to do the inner work so we can surrender, so we can trust, so we can be in flow, because all of that requires some serious self-confidence.
Yeah. And you say it so beautifully, Bonnie. You always say, you know, we have been trained to and programmed to live our lives based on external conditions, external desires, external wants and rules and requirements. But when we learn how to go internally, right? And this is so true. And this is such a broad statement. You can apply this to yourself. You can apply this to your kids. You can apply this to everybody in your life. But when we go internally and we stop doing the things for performance sake to get the gold star or nail the landing from the outside world, everything shifts because, like you said, at the end of the day, nobody's going to care more about our heart and our well-being and our dreams than we are. They're just not, even your parents, right? Even your parents. And as a parent, that's hard to say sometimes. It's hard to swallow because, of course, oh my gosh, my sons, if I will do anything to support their dreams. But ultimately, it's going to be up to them because also, hi, over here, living my own life. I've got my own stuff going on. That's not out of being selfish. That's literally said out of being aware that that's what life is made up of. We are all given our individual assignments because we were the ones that were meant to bring them to fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and this is where we want to tune in. And one of the things I want to remind many of you, because so many of us have gotten into this habit or the pattern of not even knowing what we want.
Yeah.
Not knowing, I mean, I love this big one, you know, is that so many of our clients, you know, want to know their purpose, right? Mm-hmm. And they're waiting for the sky to part, it written in the stars, you know, and purpose doesn't work like that. And this is why we always talk about aligning your purpose, passion, and power, is that recognizing that purpose a lot of times is a self-discovery session where, and you'll stumble into your purpose, but being purposeful is something you can intentionally do every day. Yeah. And so sometimes, like, if you're listening to this and you're like, I don't even know where to start, the very first place to start is to start to tune into just knowing what you feel. Mm-hmm. And for many of you, that could be numbness. Yeah. That's still a feeling, right? Apathy is still a feeling. And so this is where we want to start to broaden the range, right? A lot of us condition as children to only think about that, the big ones, angry, sad, hurt, happy, right?
Yeah.
And we need to expand that. So go online, find yourself a emotion chart and start to regularly tune in and see if you can assign some different subtle emotions, some different emotions to what you're really feeling. So you can begin this process of aligning the inner self.
Yeah, I love it. I love it so much. There's so many little nuggets that we get to just share by way of our natural conversations, Bonnie. And I'm so grateful that our girl is listening right now. I'd love to share the mission statement if that works for you. We can give her.
Let's get over to that. Yes.
I have it right here. Do you want me to read it? Do you want to read it?
Yeah, go. No, I got it pulled up too. We're good.
All right, girlfriend. Here it is. Because like literally from Bonnie's heart and mine to yours, because you were there in the creation of this. So this is our mission statement for Rebels for Joy, as Rebels for Joy, as personal rebels, as a part of this whole movement. Our mission is to spark an emotional revolution by putting purpose back into the hearts and souls of every person we touch. This creates a ripple effect of life-changing results that expands far beyond our families and elevates the collective consciousness. Our rebels are ambassadors of joy and influence this world through conscious creation. Here we trust, believe, surrender, and radiate greatness, knowing we are never alone and always guided. Our mission is the lasting legacy we live. We are Rebels for Joy.
Oh, I get goosebumps.
I know. I have tears. Like I've got the lump in the back of the throat. It's just... That's everything. That's everything. And, you know, I almost want to take a pause for you who's listening. Like, let's just let that sink in just for a moment. Thank you. Thank you. Because this is for all of us. I mean, every soul of every person we touch, this creates a ripple effect to elevate the collective consciousness. Our rebels are ambassadors of joy. This is big, big, big stuff. Bonnie, like, tell me what's going on in your little heart center right there, because I can see it bursting open.
It's just, to me, it's like when we really stand behind this mission, and the reason why we wanted to bring this forward to all of you today is because a lot of times mission statements are just that thing that you write and you slap it on your website and that's the end of it, right? And we actually want to embody this mission. Yeah. We want this mission to be in the forefront of your mind, because as we're saying in here is recognizing that our mission is the lasting legacy we live, right? This isn't just what me and Jillian are doing. Like, this is like the impact it's having on your life, listener, yours, and the people you touch. And if we can help you radiate joy, if we can help bring you peace and purpose and passion and power, if we can help you connect to these truths and understand the skills, understand the tools, understand what's required to, like we said in the first episode, have our joy be the standard of our life. Now we can infect or affect or whatever you want to say, the entire world. Yeah. And that is big, because with so much chaos, so much rejection and anger and hate and nasty news and nasty media and nasty trolling and all of this other nastiness in the world, now more than ever, joy is essential. We need to become ambassadors of joy, to stand in that power and say, I'm not going to live that life over there. I'm not going to be stuck in a mediocre, I'm fine, it's okay. I'm not going to be in misery. Life is too short to be miserable, period. Joy is my standard, period. And when we can become those ambassadors, we then can influence so much goodness in this world. And we need it. We need you. We need you.
It makes my heart burst, because I just keep thinking about all the movements that are surfacing lately that are just amazing, right? So all of these big movements that are for women entrepreneurs or women in spirituality or women in this or women in that. And our mission is to be inclusive of everyone. It doesn't matter to us whether you have your own business or you believe in this or you believe in that, or you're a mom or you work 70 hours a week. Like the what we were coming down to, the thing that draws us all together is joy. This is a human necessity.
Yeah.
This is, like you said, Bonnie, this is our standard as souls having a human experience here. This gets to be that movement that you see all over social media, but you're going, yeah, but I don't fit the mold for that. Yeah, I don't fit the mold for that. It's like, you fit the mold for this, girl. Because you want to live a life that is fulfilled. You want to live your legacy. You don't want to leave your legacy. You don't want to have like the hamster wheel life and then like decide like, okay, like maybe I'll leave something at the end. No, you want to friggin' live it, and you want to live it in joy. And that's why this matters so much. Our mission is to spark an emotional revolution. This isn't saying, hey, you have to fit X, Y, and Z criteria and you can be part of the club. This is saying, hey, if you're willing to go inward, to discover the truth of who you are and what freaking lights you up, then this is what we're here for.
And I love that we're saying this is revolution, because revolution requires, is influencing change, right? It's saying that we're not going to stand for whatever this is anymore. This is the new way we're moving forward. And we're going to stand behind this and make sure that our voices are heard, because the change is needed.
Yeah.
And when we say emotional revolution, this goes back to, again, that first episode. If you haven't heard it, you got to go. You got to go
back. Yeah. That's the foundation.
It is, and what we talk about is that this revolution is our opportunity to recognize that we need to be the change.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Not the mailman, not Tony frickin' Robbins, not anyone else. That we, us, individually, have to do the inner work to get the outward results. And whatever that means. And a point that Jillian made here that I think we really do want to emphasize is, this is the legacy we're living, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like something we want to leave and pass down to our children. It's that we're going to show our children how to live better.
In real time.
Yes, in real time. And this one line in here is like, the ambassadors of joy and influence this world through conscious creation.
Yes.
Because the revolution requires us to take action. It requires us to do the inner work, to shift the limiting beliefs, to change our perceptions, to eliminate our insecurities, know how to manage fear and doubt, to begin to take mental and emotional responsibility, so that we can physically see transformation and that we spiritually can connect to whatever that is that matches you. Like we said, we're all inclusive, right? It's okay of whatever your religious or non-religious, findings are. We support that, because joy is going to be universally across the board in all of these areas.
Yeah.
So we want to inspire you to connect in with you and start living that life.
Well, and I don't want to get religious here, but the point of all religion, and I mean, everyone has their own different nuances, and there's all sorts of things that humans have contributed in creating religions. But whether you believe in God or the universe or goddess or Allah or whatever it is, the point of all of it is oneness. It's getting back to that oneness. It's getting back to that whole. And for us, joy is the universal language of it all. So we are all beautifully and divinely created, and we are all here to raise our vibration to live the very best life that we can live. And wouldn't it be great if we felt joyful the whole time, right? Or as often as freaking possible? Like, just think it's like, oh yeah, we make this really complicated and really hard on ourselves sometimes. And it's like, where can we get back? Where can we get back to the basics? How can we get back into aligning the purpose, the passion, the power?
Yes. I love it so much, girlfriend. I love it. And hopefully you guys love it too. We'd love to hear what you think. We've mentioned multiple times, we're easily accessible. You can connect with us on social media. You can find us through our website, Rebels for Joy. You can connect with us. There's information on the show notes. But just tell us, like, what do you think? Like, what part of this mission statement really sparked something in you that really resonated with you? I mean, are you finding that you are an ambassador for joy? Because if so, there's going to be many opportunities as we're developing this revolution. We've got plans to actually invite you to become an ambassador.
Yeah. I
joy.
love that word. I
do
think
too.
it's so cool. It's like, it's so powerful, but it's not like It's not like you had to claw your way to the top to become an ambassador. Like, you embody being an ambassador. Like, I love that.
I do too.
It feels really goddessy. I just love it. It could be the really cute outfits that we're wearing this morning too. We look like goddesses. So, and actually to that point, we are posting these podcast episodes, the videos of us, so you can actually see Bonnie and I interacting on YouTube as well. So we will, we'll add that into the show notes. But Bonnie, I think for the most part, these show notes will have the mission statement, and we'll invite our girl to participate with that in the way that best resonates for her. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. And we mentioned early on our show notes are short and sweet and to the point. So hopefully you enjoy that as much as we do.
I think this was beautiful. And I want you, our sweet listener, to take this to heart and figure out how open up to see where this can fit into your beautiful, potentially incredibly joy-filled life if you decide to participate in the emotional revolution that is Rebels for Joy.
Yeah. And the last thing I would say is that if you're listening to this, I really want to set the intention. Okay. Every episode, every time you see us, every time you hear us, is to be reminded is that joy is your choice, right? And you can find joy in every situation and every scenario if you choose to, if you look for the silver lining, or if you decide to find laughter or to not take yourself so seriously. So I invite you today to inject a little bit more joy in your life. And sometimes that means spreading it to someone else. When I was overcoming a lot of my own stresses and anxieties, right? I had panic attacks, anxiety disorder, which is normal because I had came from numbing out all my emotions through drugs and alcohol and food. Mm-hmm. And so when I was healing from all of that, all of these emotions I hadn't dealt with came bubbling to the surface. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways that I had began to start to navigate that, because I had all of this depression, and a big part of it was because my brain chemically didn't know what to do anymore. Yeah. And I had to go through that healing process physically. So one of the things that I did is I went online and I found like hundreds of like short knock jokes, funny jokes. And when I needed an injection of joy, I would randomly call a friend and be like, hey, it's Bonnie. I heard something super funny today. You want to hear it? And they're like, okay, yeah, sure. And I would tell them this random, completely annoying, absolutely ridiculous joke or pun. They would be laughing. I would be laughing. And I would literally say, okay, I can't talk. I got to go. Love you. Bye. And so it was less than 3 minutes. Yeah. And my energy level spiked, right? And I returned to joy by infecting someone else with joy. Now you hear me saying infect because I say joy is infectious, right? So I'm using that word very intentionally for my grammar police. Listening. All right. And they're like, that's not the right word. I understand. I'm doing it intentionally.
But it is the right word.
So I want you to, for yourself, think of different other ways that you can be spreading the joy. If that's a way for you to enhance your joy as well. So if there's something you could do for yourself, maybe there's something you could do for someone else. And it could be as simple and silly as spreading a smile, spreading a hug, giving a high five to a stranger, encouraging, like when I'm out on the running trail, I am that really weird one. When I could see someone like hitting mile 7, I'm like, literally like, good job, girl. Yes, great job. And they look at me like that. They're like, oh crap, there's a psycho on the trail. And it's okay because they're just smiling. A lot of times they'll high five me and we'll keep going. And I'm like, well, that just gave me some little bit extra juice to make that next extra mile. So, joy is infectious, it's contagious, and it's really, as an ambassador, it's my responsibility to spread it anywhere and everywhere I can.
Amen, sister. Amen, amen. So that will be the call to action for everyone then.
Perfect.
Tag us on social media with what you did today to infect someone else with joy.
Love it.
Tag at Rebels for Joy. We want to see it so we can cheer you on. And that will probably give us some really good ideas because we love all the silly ideas that will help us bring joy to our lives and the people that we know too. So I can't wait to read those.
Me either. Thank you guys.
Have a great day, girl. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.